All right, we're live and we are going to go ahead and get started with. I call this like the Auntie's live laugh. Did y'all see it?
I did. I did.
um, oh, I have a little bit of an echo. So you do you feel you
Sound.
hear the echo a little bit?
I don't hear any echo, and you sound clear.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep going. If y'all do start to hear it, just let me know. I have a little bit of a delay, but if y'all can't hear it, we'll rub with it. Okay. All right, so this is lighthearted, and we're just here to have some conversation about some trending topics. Have a couple of serious topics. We're just going to kind of jump into it. So, Amber, did you get a chance to see the topics?
I skimmed. I
You skimmed.
did
Okay.
like a couple of hours
So
ago.
I'm thinking about starting then with the Tyler Perry controversy. So, do we all know what that is?
I do.
I saw one
Okay.
clip on Instagram of some comments he made.
And Megan, do you know?
Yes. I
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
So, for anybody who is watching who doesn't know, basically Tyler Perry. Okay, so Tyler Perry basically interview. I don't know where this interview was or who did any in the clip. Amber, did you recognize the interviewer?
No, I think, and they had the camera on him most of the time. And I meant to
Okay,
go back and see if I could get a full excerpt, but I just was like, oh, let me go in these comments and read.
okay. It was a black woman, but I don't recognize who she is, and so I don't know if that's like her own show or something. But basically, and I missed the beginning of it, so I don't know what how this got to this topic. But essentially, Tyler Perry said that if you have a good man, essentially, and all he can pay is a light bill, that he said his quote was, "He's meeting you at your worth." That was his quote that kind of like stuck with me. He's meeting you at your worth, and that basically black women. So see, that's why I spoke on it because he spoke to us. Like we're not even in the conversation. He said basically that we are the people who tend to have too much expectations, including having like someone I think he said earning like 5 times higher
Hmm.
than your partner. But he acknowledged that black women who are working tend to be making the most money in the household. So anyway, that's what kind of got it hyped up. So I guess just like start there and see if y'all have any kind of just general thoughts about that. I already talked about some of my thoughts on TikTok. What thoughts do y'all have just starting off?
Yeah. So I actually sent the clip to a group of friends too, um, and we talked about it. And so I didn't even hear the part that you just mentioned. I didn't. I guess I didn't hear it clear. Pretty much all that I got from it was, black women want their man to make more 5 times as much and blah blah blah. That was kind of the part that kind of stood out to me. Um, and who who realistically would think that their spouse would make 5 times more than they make? I don't know. And I think that, of course, I'm the only single one in the group. So I thought about it like this. I've always said, like, I don't necessarily need my mate to make an abundance of money. I just want him to be able to pay his stuff on his own because I can pay mine on my own. So don't come and hinder. You know what I mean? Don't be a hindrance to me. Let's meet each other kind of where we are. And I think that was my thought of kind of I I, I think it's just stupid to think that somebody would want somebody to make 5 times as much. I don't think that that's realistic. I just don't.
I can't say that that was an over exaggeration.
Yeah, yeah. But I think expecting a man to be able to pay his own stuff is not far fetched. I mean, why? That's not a what's what's wrong with that? Like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where he got that from. I would love to know, like I would need to ask him a couple of more questions to kind of be able to respond accurately. Like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, where did you get this?
And why are you bringing us into it?
Right?
Okay. So
Exactly.
Amber, because I think this is interesting. We have an interesting, like a single person, married person, in different kinds of like relationship structure. So I want to hear from you now what your thought about it is.
So I was just trying to remember his quote. So I pulled it up in an article, but when I got married, y'all, I was poor. Like I was working a nonprofit. I was making no profit, and I loved my work. But I got married. My husband made substantially more than me, and he has always made substantially more than me because when I got pregnant with my first child, I haven't worked full time since then. So for me, I was looking at it like, okay, there's so many layered conversations here. There's that notion that a lot of men believe that they need to be the provider, right? Then there's the idea that um if and I saw this in one of the comments, it said something like, you're saying this, but if the man comes to the table and he can only pay his light bill, he will secretly or passive aggressively hate the woman the entire time he's with her because secretly he would want to make more money than her. And I was like, man, okay, so they're going here. So it was this conversation around, can a man even handle, can certain men, I'm not going to say all, can certain men even handle being with a woman who makes more than them? So there's that conversation. And then there's if it was flipped, because it was definitely flipped for me, because my husband did make way more money than me. So if we flip it, then it was like, I had no problem with that. He had no problem with that. But I think there's this idea that the man is supposed to be the provider, the quote unquote breadwinner. And I'll never forget watching Black Lady Sketch Show, and one of the characters on there said something to the extent of, breadwinner, white people got you out here thinking bread is a prize. And it was hilarious because, winning bread, what does that even mean, right? But I think it opened up so many other layers. And I don't know if he was trying to, but I looked at his quote and it says,
Yeah, read the quote. Read the quote again. Let me revisit my
it's
thoughts when
okay.
I heard
So
it.
yeah, he said a lot of women, especially Black women, and I might get in trouble for saying this, but I will, he began. In our society right now, Black women are making a lot more money for the most part than Black men. A lot more money for the most part than Black men. He continued, if you can find love, if that man works at whatever job and is a good man and is good to you and honors the house and honors his wife and does what he can because his gift might not be your gift, that is okay. That's not someone that's beneath you. That's someone who came to love you at your worth. And so he says he continued his remarks by stating that it wasn't a problem if a Black woman takes on more financial responsibility in a relationship as long as she's comfortable with it. As long as he's secured himself to know that, yeah, she makes most of the money. All I can do is pay the light bill. As long as she's comfortable enough to say, I'm going to cover the mortgage and all that stuff. He went on, that's fine, Perry said. The 54-year-old said the love and support two people share in a relationship is more significant than their financial differences. So that's what he said. But I can, as
Let's
soon
get
as
real. Let's get real after after listening to that quote again. Let's be serious. No, I think that I'm a woman of a certain age, so I think that being 40. Oh, my birthday is next week. I'll be 44. So being 40, so being a 44-year-old woman and meeting a guy that can only pay a light bill is a no go. Like, come on, we're not doing that. We're not doing that in the year of our Lord 2023. That is not what we're doing. But because what does he mean exactly by meeting a woman at their worth? What about I'm worth a light bill? Like what are we talking about here?
Hey, yeah, I have a bit of interference on my audio. I'm gonna try to leave out and come back in, and hopefully it won't disconnect while y'all are here, so I can see if I can get it fixed, and then I'll be right back. Hopefully it won't stop. If it does, I'll send y'all a new link to restart. But I'm having a lot of feedback here.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Okay. So it didn't. All right. Yeah. So I'll just keep going. So yeah.
Okay.
So that is my I'm glad you read that. I'm so glad you read that because I don't know what exactly he meant by meeting a woman, whatever he said about her worth. Like, what is that? What does that mean?
So he
What
said
did you
that's
get
not
from that?
somebody
What did
who's
you get from that?
yeah, that's not somebody that's beneath you. That's somebody who came to love you at your worth. I think if you separate them, then it gets a little messy. It gets messy. I think if I combine those two, that's somebody that's not somebody that's beneath you. That's somebody who came to love you at your worth. Basically saying maybe you're worthy and I love you because you're worthy. Like you're like you have